Hi, so today we'll discuss about this project named Car Acceptability Prediction, which is a very good project. In if you're just starting your career in data science, then this is one of the starter or intermediate type of projects, because here you will learn about many algorithms and a little bit of data analysis. So what does this project say about? It's straightforward, which is written in the PPT. It predicts whether the car is acceptable or not after the maintenance or the service period of a car. So basically, after we purchase a car, then we have to give a car for servicing, and then if there are any defects or anything of that kind, then post servicing we can get it and we can say whether it is acceptable or not. Even we can consider it as after manufacturing and before getting into the production, whether the car will be acceptable by the people in the public or not. So at what range? So there are 4 kind of classes as per this dataset. One is acceptable, one is unacceptable, one is good, and one is very good. So it's a multi-class classification problem, and here's the flow of it: loading the data frame, performing pre-processing, performing exploratory data analysis, performing feature selection and selecting the best algorithm, and then integrating the model with Flask and Bootstrap, and then deploying it on Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so let me show you the demo of this. So here's the demo. So here we'll be little bit focusing on how to make templates also in this. So over here, making templates is a extra skill which you will learn from here. So first is how will you kind of give a description about the data from where the data is being scraped in this alert, and then there is this form, and then there is the information about the data set of which we are using. So this is the information of the entire database from where this table has been extracted, and this is the information of the data set from which table is the data being extracted and stored into the tables. Okay, so let's start. So over here, EDA, exploratory data analysis, the entire crux will be depending only on one thing. If you understand this simple one feature, that's more than enough to understand EDA of almost many features. Okay, so over here, let me select from these features, let me select maintenance as one feature, and let me keep the select the buying mode, select the maintenance mode high, 2, number of doors are 2, number of persons are 2, luggage section let me keep it as medium, and safety medium let me keep it as high. And over here I have chosen 3 algorithms to work on with. So let me choose as random forest classifier, and then when I hit predict, this data exploratory data analysis part which comes into the picture. Over here you can see this is very adjustable, and you can simply play with this, a very nice tool. So you can see there are 432 classes of very high, 432 classes of high, 432 classes of low, 432 classes of medium. So maintenance is very high of the car, maintenance is high, maintenance is low, maintenance is medium. So there are equal samples of it. Okay, so let's see the prediction. So prediction is based on the above skills, the overall car acceptability is inaccurate. That means this particular car is classified as inaccurate with an accuracy of almost 98.55%. So that means this car is not acceptable at the end because of some reasons, because maybe because of the luggage section is too big, maybe because of only the number of persons can be accommodated at 2. So maybe if you see a 2-seater car which has a very big luggage bank, it looks ugly, I think. Okay, so even if your maintenance is very high and everything is very good, but if the doors and if the persons cannot be accommodated, and then if persons are accommodating, then luggage section must also be big, right? So that is why this is predicting according to the whatever thing it is trained on correctly. So yeah, in the next video we'll look at how to build this up. Hi, so in the last video we discussed about the working of this application, right? So in this video now we'll start up with we'll quickly start up with model building phase, because there is nothing that much which is required in pre-processing and all those things. Okay, so the data set, if you just have a look at the data over here, here we have this data like very high, too small, low, and accuracy. So first thing is first we need to label this, right, as columns. So the columns for these are buying, maintaining, number of doors, number of persons which can fit into the car, the luggage boot, that means how much big the luggage carriage is at the end. Is it small, is it big, or is it medium? So 3 categories. And then we have safety, and then the class is what we are gonna predict. Okay, so there are almost like 4 plus 3 7 columns, so we'll be using 6 columns for our training, and they will be our independent features. And the last column, that is this unac and all, unac, and then we have accurate, inaccurate, and all, that is all known as, to resolve we have classified it as class label. We have given it as a class column name. So first things first, we need to name the columns. So we have named the columns, and then we are reading the data. So pd.read csv, we are reading this car.data, and then we are giving the names to be call names. Okay, so this will make a data frame with these all things, and additional to this we'll be having the column names at the top, nothing more than that. Fine. So this read data is function is all about the reading the data from the file, right? Not csv file, it's just reading the data from the file. Great. So once this read data function is done, these are all small parts which we will be working on. Okay, then we will have this. So this is all about the reading data part. So I just wanted to show you the data first, how the data looks, and then so that it's into an analogy, like how the columns are named and how from where the data is being read, or from which function the data is being read. Great. So now we will jump directly to one part that is known as the main part over here. This app.route / methods is equals to get and post. So this is nothing but a route. Now what is a route? Let me just say you over here. You can see this URL, right? So if I just press and predict over here, for example, I press predict, there's nothing like predict. So it will say no, not found. The requested URL was not found in the on the server. So your Flask is a server. Okay, Flask is a server, and then this is the this is known as the IP of it. 127.0.0.1 is known as the IP of it, and colon 5000 is known as the port number of it. So basically your app is running on port number 5000. Now if I hit enter, so if I hit / and enter also, it means that this is the home page. Okay, so on this home page route, this route can take 2 methods. One is get method and one is post method. Okay, so get method, what get method does is it just sends request and response. That is the mechanism of it. You send the request from your server, you send the request from your machine to the server will respond you. That is get, simple get. And what is post is, post will take data along from your request. Okay, so normal get means you're just sending the request and server is sending you back the response. But in post, you send the request with data. In simple words, I'm saying you send the request with some kind of data, and at the server does some kind of computation at end, and then it sends the results back to the UI. So it will get displayed on your screen. Fine. So this route takes these 2 methods, get method and post method. That is the meaning. So here we have this hello world function which is defined under this route. So over here, get mappings comma data is equals to label encoding of read data. Now in the starting only I said that we have this read data function, right? What does this read data function do? It reads the data frame from the file. It reads the data from the file and makes a data frame and then sends the data frame. So this read data function will send this data frame. Where this data frame will come? This data frame will come over here. Now this data frame is passed as an argument to which function? Label encoding function. What is this label encoding function doing? Label encoding function is basically taking up the data. So over here, if you have a look at the data for us, okay, if you see the data once, you'll understand the thing. So over here there is So over here there are no numerical values as such. Numerical in the sense 10.2, 11.2, 11.43, 10.55, 11.67, like that. That is all considered to be as continuous numerical values. But over here we cannot find any of them. We are finding either ordinal numerical values or categorical values. So when we are having this kind of data, like the whole data set is in that way only. So we have to for surely use label encoding or one-hot encoding or some kind of encoding. Okay, so that is why we are using this label encoder, which I imported from Scikit-Learn.preprocessing. So once I import this label encoder, I am saying data is equals to df.copy get mappings. I am taking it as a dict. This is very important, get mappings thing, because this contains a lot of information once I'll discuss. Okay, so for every column in list of data.columns. Now what is data? Data is nothing but the copy of the data frame. We do not want to make changes directly to the data frame. We want to make changes to a copy of the data frame. That is why I made this data is equals to df.copy. So for every column in list of data.columns, so I'm gonna fit this encoder object on that. So basically what this encoding will do is, for example, I have categorical variables like, let me say I have A, I have S, I have D, I have E, I have R, right? So these are all my categorical variables. Now I need to convert them into numerical variables. So there is one kind of label which I can assign to it. Like A can be assigned as B1, B can be assigned as 2, S can be assigned as 2, D can be assigned as 3, right? E can be assigned as 4, like that. So this is all about label encoding. This is what label encoding is happening at the back end. Okay, so for every categorical column, that will be converted into those kind of labels. Now once those labels are done, what is happening is, once those labels are done, okay, now I need to know which labels were given by this label encoder object. So for that, I have a function known as this encoder object is there, right? This encoder object, which is an object of this label encoder class. It has a method known as, it has a parameter known as classes underscore, right? So classes underscore means these are the classes over here, like A, S, D, E, R. These are the classes. Okay, so this encoder.classes will return a list of them. So over here, what are our classes? A, S, D, E, R. So encoder.classes will return encoder.classes underscore will return me the list of the classes. Okay, this will return me the list of the classes. Fine. Now encoder.transform encoder.classes. Now over here you just understand that we are writing fit underscore transform, right? So fit underscore transform at the back end, what it is doing, it is kind of giving labels, right? Now what I need to do is I need to do encoder.transform of encoder.classes. If I do this, what will happen is this will return me something known as 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's say that R is 5. Okay. Let's say that R is 5. Fine. So this will return me this list. So this list is all about the labels which are given to these classes. Now these two are lists, right? Now in Python, if you want to convert two lists into a dictionary, so we use a function known as zip. So zip will convert these two lists into something known as a list of tuples. So list of tuples is basically like this, a list of tuples, S, 2, and then we have D, 3, and so on. Okay, so it converts in this way. The zip function takes two lists as parameters and then it converts into a single list of tuples. Now this can be easily converted to a dictionary by using dict keyword. So once you use dict keyword, at the end you will be having something like this. A is 1, S is 2, D is 3, E is 4, something like this. Okay, so this is all about the label encoding phase, and this is very important. And this is a dictionary, and we have to store this dictionary. So for storing that, I have mentioned this get mappings. So that was the reason why I mentioned the get mappings. So get mapping of column. So for every column there are some categorical variables, right? We just saw in the card.data. For every column there are several type of categorical variables. So we'll be selecting those categorical variables and we'll be applying label encoding on them. So for every column we'll be having categorical variables, right? So for every column we'll be having one dictionary known as get mappings, which will say us what are the mappings which were done to the data frame. Okay, so now I'll just return this, that is get mappings and data. I'll return. So this is all about the label encoding phase. So in the next video we'll look out how we can integrate the model.py file and how we can integrate the index.html. So in the last video we understood how this label encoding function is happening at the back, and now we will be looking at one more important thing, that is the model building phase. Okay, so we know that there are all categorical variables, and in order to deal with categorical or ordinal variables, the option is we have to kind of make the encoding class, right? And that we made. So now we will be discussing about the model building phase. So what this model building file is all about, it's very simple. This file is all about all the classifiers like logistic regression, random forest classifier, decision tree classifier, k nearest neighbors, SVC metrics. Fine. So what I will be doing here is, it's very simple. First I'll define a function named as split data frame, which takes in a parameter named as data frame. So train is equals to df of this thing. So I'll be taking the 6 values. As I said in the car.data, file, what is the 6 features? These are the 6 features, and the 7th feature is what we want to predict, right? So I'll be taking these 6 features. What are those 6 features? Those 6 features were mentioned in this read data thing: buying, maintenance, door, person, luggage, boot, safety, right? Those were the 6 things. So here we have mentioned those 6 things, and safety is the thing which we are gonna predict. And in test we are saying df of class. So what was the class label? So class label was the last label, that inaccurate, the accurate, inaccurate thing, right? So this was our class label: inaccurate, accurate, and all, right? Accurate and all. So yeah, inaccurate, accurate, inaccurate, accurate, low, and all, right? So that was our label which we are going to predict. Fine. So once we divided the data frame into training and testing, we'll be doing train test split, which will divide this into training and validating data. So once the entire split is done, this will return those xtrain, xtest, ytrain, ytest thing. So this function will return this. So once this function returns, now we will call this function, which is split data, in each of our functions, that is logistic regression, random forest, decision tree, and everything. Fine. So let us first look at that. Okay, so def logistic, so this will take in 4 variables, that is xtrain, xtest, ytrain, and ytest, and this is called by split data, which takes in the data frame as the input, right? So we'll get the xtrain, xtest, ytrain, and ytest. Xtrain and ytrain are training, xtest and ytest are validating. Now LR is equals to logistic regression. We create a logistic regression object. We fit that object on training data. Once we do that, we are saying LR.predict of xtest. So we are kind of predicting our We are kind of training, we are kind of validating our model, that is logistic regression model, on the validation data, which is nothing but X test. So that will give me the prediction. Now if I want the accuracy, recall, F1 score and precision score, I have to give I have from this matrix, I have these functions, that is accuracy score, recall score, precision score and F1 score. So what these functions will take is, they'll taking the actual data, that is Y test, okay, that is nothing but the validated label, and then the label which your algorithm is predicting, and based on the correctness of these things, it will determine the accuracy. Same goes with recall score and precision score and F1 score. The important thing over here is this average is equals to macro. Now as I said that we are having 4 different classes, so this is a multi-class classification. So for a multi-class classification, we have to give some kind of average metric in case of recall, precision and F1 score. So we are giving the average as macro. You can also give it as micro, and there are many more averages which you can give. So in multi-class classification, basically confusion matrices, they don't follow the similar pattern which is followed in case of binary classification. Okay, in multi-class classification, the prediction or the evaluation of metric is done in some different manner. So that is why it is taking some kind of averages behind the scene and it is displaying the results. So that is why we have to for sure display the average metric. If you don't display the average, by default it is micro, and if you try and run this, it will show an error for sure. Okay, so we have to be very careful while we are dealing with multi-class classification and when we want these all. Great. So this was all about the logistic regression model. So what this logistic function is returning, it is returning with the accuracy, the recall score, the precision, the F1 score, basically all the metrics, and then the model object itself. Now one thing to notice over here is, I did not make any kind of pickle file here, and that is not a requirement also, because I will be giving some suggestions from my end to the user to select an algorithm of his or her choice. As you can see, select the classifier. Then in order to make things go in a computational way, I am not saving it as pickle file. I just want to give it as a function definition which will just return me the object at the end. So this is all about the logistic regression function. Similar to this, you just need to change this line and this line. That's it. These 3 lines, basically these 3 lines you need to change, and then everything is the same. So def decision tree, xtrain, ytrain, xtest, ytest is done. Decision tree classifier has been imported. You are fitting the training data, and then you're predicting for the validation data, and then you're calculating the metrics. As simple as that. You just observe the line number 45, 46, 47 were just changed in comparison to line number 30, 31 and 32. Rest all lines were same. Only the line number 30, 45, 46 and 47 will change. That's it. Similarly, we'll go for random forest, xtrain, ytrain, random forest classifier, and predicting on the validation data. Line number 58, 59, 60 have been changed. Rest all are the same. The last value must be little bit careful. You have to give the object as RF. Just that, nothing else. Same goes with SVC and KNN as well. You can add many more algorithms to this. I just restricted myself for 5, and in production I just used 3. You can also use 5, you can also use 7, you can use n number of things. Okay, it's totally dependent on your choice, or basically let me generalize it, it's totally dependent on user's choice. Okay, fine. So this was all about the model building phase, or the model building function, or the model building file. In the next video we'll look at how to make our index.html file, that is this HTML file, and then we will also look at some EDA and all in the end. Okay, till then do learn about these algorithms, and also do learn about the metric scores for multi-class classification. Okay. Hi. So in the last video we discussed about the model building.py file. Everything was very clearly explained there, how the data is coming and how the train test split is happening, and how the model is getting, how the each and every algorithm is predicting some kind of accuracy, F1 score, recall score and precision, and then how entire data from this file is being shared to this file. Okay, so over here we are doing this import, model building, import logistic, D tree, random forest, SVC and KNN. Right. So in the last video we said that we will be discussing how to build this index.html, that is the template file. So this is very simple. Anyone can simply make a website within 10 to 15 minutes using a very popular framework known as Bootstrap. If you are very comfortable, if you are an expertise in Bootstrap, then it hardly takes 1 hour to build a very amazing, cool, responsive websites. So in this video I'll tell you the tricks and tweaks which you can make in order to make very responsive, quick templates. Fine. So first things first, what you need to do is you have to make sure that as you're using the Flask framework, you have to make sure that your templates are under the templates folder. This templates folder is very important in case of Flask framework, because Flask has a function known as render template. So this render template, it automatically looks into the present directory where you are present, and the definition of this render template function is over here. You can see template name or list text, iterable text. That means it is inside the templates folder. You have to mention all your templates, otherwise this will show an error. Okay, it's against the rule of Flask. So inside the templates we create an HTML file, that is nothing but this index.html file. Now for order to understand things more clearly, how to use Bootstrap, I'm gonna just make a dummy file so that it's easy to understand the things of how practically Bootstrap can be implemented. Fine. So this dummy file I made inside the templates, I'll move out of it. Right. So over here what I will do is I'll just change my mode from Django to HTML, and then I'll be simply doing the following things. Just follow according to me. Just go to docs, copy the starter template, come here, paste it over here, Ctrl S to save, and hit on go live. So go live is nothing but the live server. So in order to get the live server in Visual Studio, it's an extension. So just type in live server here, you will get the option for it, live server. You'll get the option for live server over here. Just go to here and just install this. It's already installed in my case, so I'm just skipping it. So yeah, you can do it in that way. So now in this dummy.html, I copied the file. I just copied the Bootstrap file and I was ready, and then I hit on go live. So once I hit on go live, so this will copy this will render me this dummy.html on my web, okay, on the browser. So now what I need is I need some kind of alerts. So if I need some kind of alerts, I'll go to Bootstrap, I'll type in alerts. Once I type in alerts, I'll get to this page. You can see there are a heap lot of alerts which you can use. Let's say that I want to use this because this is looking good. So I'll copy it, I'll come here. Now under the body function, I'll press Ctrl S, it will auto format the HTML code. I'll write, I can do in this way in order to make it readable. Okay, I'm pressing Alt plus Z key so that it's easy to understand things. So now I have made an alert. Now let me just see how my alert looks like. So it's looking in this way. Now what if I want to centerize this thing and I want to give some kind of margin on the top? So there's one function there's one class in Bootstrap known as container. So this container class, what it does is it centralizes my things. Okay, so how does it do it is as shown here. As you can see, it just stripped off this white space for me, and then I have centered my alert. Now what if I want to give the margin from top? So I'll just type m by 4. If I type in m by 4, it will give a margin from top, 4 units margin from top. Isn't it amazing? Like within fraction of seconds we are ready with our alerts, and then we want something like this to come, right? So how will this come? So basically there's something known as grid system in Bootstrap. Okay, so if you look at the grid system in Bootstrap, you're having this. So if you want one row and 3 column thing, then you can use this code. So like this is one row and these are the 3 columns. So class is equals to row, and in order to centerize things, you can see these white spaces which are stripped. How are these white spaces stripped? With this, because of the class named as container. As we can see over here also, the white spaces are stripped from here. So that is the magic of this container class. And row class is this one, and in a row you want 3 columns. So div is equals to call, div is equals to call, div is equals to call. As simple as that. You can just read through this documentation. It's very simple to understand. Bootstrap is a really awesome framework for front end, and you know, it just takes hardly 10 to 15 minutes to just copy paste it and just organize things, right? So over here, if you want 1 of 2 or 2 of 2, you can use this, or if you want 1 of 3, 2 of 3 or 3 of 3, you can use it in a combination. And then if you want some kind of variations in it, you can use these variations. If you want variable size length widgets, you can use this, and all of them you can just explore it. It's very simple. So there are several things like MD. So what does this MD mean? MD is nothing but medium, SM is nothing but small, and LG is nothing but large, as the name suggests. First character, last character, first character, last character, like that only. Okay. So call is equals to 6 means it is taking 6 blocks of space. Call MD4 means it is taking 4 blocks of space. Okay, 4 medium sized block of space. Call 6 means it is taking 6 unit size of spaces. And call LG4 means it is taking 4 large blocks of spaces, right? So you have to be very careful in this. And this comes automatically by practice. You can use any of them from here. Okay, so this grid system is very important in Bootstrap. If you master this grid system, you can design websites within hours. Like within 1 hour, you can design a very amazing website. Okay, so that was all about the dummy file, and let's move into our index file. So whatever the contents I have kept in the index file, right? So as you can see, I have maintained the container and then a row, right? The row, you know how what I made this container to get this stripped off, and then I made a row class, and inside that row class I want column class, right? So inside that row I want column. So what is this? Row is equals to call, row is equals to call. So what kind of grid system are we following? We are following this kind of grid system. See over here, we are following 1 of 2 and 2 of 2 grid system. 1 of 2, 2 of 2, right? So this is all about 1 of 2. So in the 1 of 2, I have displayed this whole big text, right? Whole big text I have displayed. So that whole big text is this alert only. That is the whole big text which is there. So in order to display the information, I have used it, and then that is the end of that whole 1 of 2. Now in 2 of 2, if you observe, there is one catch. There is one form over here, and there is some kind of information which I mentioned at the bottom. So this is again some kind of division is happening within. So let's say where the division is happening, right? So over here we are having this div class is equals to row thing, or div class is equals to call. Okay, and if display, that is the case, right? So over here this is one call and this is one call. Okay, so there are 2 columns which are participating into it. So that was the reason why these 2 columns were made. This is one call is equals to 1, and this is call is equals to 2. Fine. So let's directly jump into the forms. So over here, form is very important, and make sure that you give the name parameter without forgetting it, because name parameters is the thing from where the actually the post request will get the data from. Okay, without name you cannot access the data from this form. Okay, so what is this? This is the selecting the feature for exploratory data analysis. So I'll be discussing about EDA when I will be talking about the post function which is defined under that root. Okay, it will come soon, but over here first you just understand the workflow of the form. So over here this is the select box which looks something like this, right? This select box, five options are there, 5 options I have mentioned here. So this is one part, and in the second part this is all about the selection thing. That is not a form, this is a form now. So over here the first thing is select the buying mode. So if you look at the buying mode, we are having 4 options, and over here also we are having 4 options. So everything is a select box over here. So just what you need to do is you need to drag this. A simple method is you need to drag this, do Control D and come here and press Control/. It will comment out. You type some name, you type some comment here, and then you adjust the values of the form according to the feature. As simple as that. As simple as that. Okay. So within fraction of seconds it will be created. So similarly you do it for everything. So after doing all the parts of this template, the template will look something like this. Now the catch or the very important part is this. Just a second, just show you. Yeah, if display. Now this is known as a Jinja syntax in Flask. Basically you can as I said in the post request, you can send the data from the form to the server, right? But in Flask you can send data from the server to the template as well. So that is done using the Jinja syntax. So that Jinja syntax is this. Okay, so that Jinja syntax is this. Make sure that you are activated the Django HTML language mode. If this is not present, you can go to here and just type in Django HTML live extension, Django HTML. It will already by default be installed, but if it's not, then you can just click on Django and then you can install this. Beautiful syntax and scoped. This I already have, so you can install it, right? So you can do this. So if display, that means if this display value is true, from where this display value is coming? This display value is coming from this main.py. I'll discuss about this later. So if the display is true, then you display me. This is a chart. Basically this is known as a chart. Okay, number of subscribers, domain wise, this is a chart. Now which kind of chart is this? This is this chart. Just if I hit predict, this is this chart. So this chart which we are seeing, this chart is getting rendered in this diff. Okay, so from where the chart is getting the data? The chart is getting the data from this blog JavaScript. We'll discuss about this later. And then we are having this show template. What is this show template? This show template is this, right? So this show template is coming from where? This show template is again coming from the Flask server. This display is coming from Flask server. Show template is coming from Flask server. Predictor class, accuracy, everything is coming from the Flask server. So in the next video, we'll look at the server code, which is nothing but the def hello world function, which is the core functioning of this entire project. Hi. So in the last video, we covered about the template code and how we can crisply and easily make our templates using the Bootstrap framework. I explained about the Bootstrap framework and how we can browse and use the documentation of Bootstrap to get a very good quality template code. Now in this video, our main agenda is to just get the things right for our Flask code, right? Yeah. So in the Flask code, the first thing I am calling is get mappings is and comma data, that is equals to label encoding of read data. I explained this function later. In the previous video, I explained about the get dict and the label encoding function in detail. So just refer to that get label encoding function. So once this label encoding, we have this data which is numerical because machines can understand numerical thing. Now if request method is post, now as I said that this is a form. Now this is a form, and from this form I need to send the data to the server, Flask server. So how will I send? There is one request known as post request, which I said in the earlier videos that with using post request you can send data from the UI to the server, right? So if the request method is post, so myDict is equals to request.form. So from that myDict we are extracting the buy, maintain, doors and everything. Okay, so if you just type in print myDict, you will see an immutable dictionary object which will be visible just now. If I just click on predict here, so this will show you an immutable multi-dict feature: buying, buy 0, maintain 0, door 0, person 0, luggage 0, safety 0 and algo RF. So if I want to access the details of them, so what will I do? I'll say myDict of buy, myDict of maintain, myDict of doors, myDict of person and all. So these are the keys, but what are the values for it? The values for them are over here. Just the values for them are over here. Just a second. The values for those keys are over here. So high is labeled as 0, low is labeled as 1, medium is labeled as 2, very high is labeled as 3. Now you may be wondering why I am giving these values only. Why am I not giving some random values? Because you did you get an idea about this get mappings? So once you get this get mappings thing, what you do is you just print get mappings here. You just print get mappings here once. You just print get mappings here, and you will understand the entire flow very easily now. So just keep on just print get mappings and just press predict, and you will see a dictionary over here. Did you see this dictionary? Did you see this dictionary? Buying and everything. You can see this: high is 0, low is 1, medium is 2, very high is 3. So that is what is done over here. Value is 0, value is 1, value is 2, value is 3. Now you downgrade that. In maintenance, what is the label encoding mapping done? Value is 0, value is 1, value is 2, value is 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. In doors, what is the mapping? 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. In person, what is the mapping? 0, 1 and 2. Got it? 0, 1 and 2. Right? In person 0, 1 and 2. In luggage 0, 1 and 2. In safety 0, 1 and 2. In safety 0, 1 and 2. Got the idea of this value thing and the name thing? So name is nothing but like a key to this immutable object, immutable multi-dict, which we will get from the UI. That is nothing but this that is nothing but this myDict, that is equal to request.form. I hope that made sense. So once we extract all the features, now this buy, maintain, doors, person, luggage, safety, algo, these are all the numerical values which will contain this 1, 2 and all. Okay. Now value is equals to myDict of feature. Now what is this feature? This feature is basically this one: maintenance, door, person, luggage and safety. But for what I am doing that feature? To perform exploratory data analysis on that feature. That is also important. That is also we discussed. So value is equals to myDict of feature. So values are these. These are nothing but the columns, and keys are nothing but these. Now I am using a mapper like dict of zip of keys of values. So that over here I'll say why I use that mapper. So that when I am typing this contribution of buying, so this buying is nothing but my feature and it should be camel cased. So that is the reason why I am using this mapper. Okay. Value count is equals to get dict of value. Now this get dict is a function here, and what it is taking as a parameter, it is taking the parameter as value. So this value, what value? From where are we getting the value? The value we are getting from here: buying, main, doors, persons, luggage, safety and all. So let's go to this function. So this function, what it will do, it is just returning me a dict. It is just grouping the data by column name, that is the column which we are passing. Let's say I selected maintenance, so it is grouping the data by maintenance, and the other group is done by on classes. Okay, so it is grouping the data by maintenance and class, and then it is returning me the count. That is the simple EDI which you can perform in this case. Okay, grouping the data by a column with respect to the dependent variable, that is nothing but the with respect to the independent variable, that is nothing but the class in this case. And what kind of metric do I want, or what kind of sum do I want? I want count, so that is why count. Fine. So this is all about this, and then the value count will get the dictionary. So now this dictionary, what it will do, I'm doing a kind of an algorithm mapper for selecting the algorithm, because over here I have mentioned some kind of select the classifier as well, right? So I'm selecting the classifier as RF, random forest of data. Where are these random forest functions defined? If you remember, we defined them in model building.py. Random forest function is in model building, decision tree is in model building.py. And have we imported that model building.py? Yes, we have imported. From model building, import these functions, right? It's making completely sense. So algo mapper is random forest of data, decision tree of data, SVC of data. You can also add logistic, you can ask KNN, you can ask you can add artificial neural network, you can ask you can add gradient boosting classifier, you can add many more classifiers according to your need. So once that is done, there is this class mapper, which is nothing but so if you look at the class over here, what kind of have done. For accuracy the label is 0, for good the label is 1, for inaccurate the label is 2, for very good the label is 3. So this class mapper will do that kind of thing. Okay, then select the algorithm, algo mapper of algo. Now if you look at the index value over here, in algorithms case also I gave some values like RF, DT and SVC, and trust this, and these all are nothing but the keys over here. Just you see RF, DT and SVC. Okay, so if you take algo mapper of algo, you will get the algorithm itself, that is random forest of data if someone has clicked on random forest, decision tree of data if someone has clicked on decision tree, and so on. Okay, so once you take that, that is your algorithm. Then accuracy, recall, precision and F1 score and model is nothing but what is written by this each of the model building algorithm. If logistic regression is considered, it is returning 5 objects, it is returning 5 values. If you consider decision tree, it is returning 5 values and all, right? So once that is done, we get the values, and over here what these are nothing but the form. Now this is the important thing. Now this is nothing but the form data. So these we will be passing the data which is collected from the form to the model so that it will predict, right? So this is nothing but, this phase is nothing but the training one, but over here comes the actual phase, that is nothing but the prediction thing, right? So input parameter is by, maintain, doors, person and all. This is the what we say about our input data which will be passing to the model for prediction, and the model will predict. Okay, model will predict on the input parameters and then predicted class. So this will nothing but, if you do predict of 0, so if you go over here, this predict can be either 0, 1, 2 or 3, that's it, not more than that. Because model will predict some class, and that class has been encoded as these labels like 0, 1, 2 and 3. So this predict can take this predict will be either 0, 1, 2 or 3. So I want to know the name of the prediction, so that is why I created a map. So if I do class mapper of predict of 0, let's say predict of 0 was 1, so class mapper of 1 is what? Good. So predicted class will be what? Good. Okay, and these all values I'm passing it as a function, I'm passing it as a parameter in this render template function, and these all parameters will be reflected in the index.html template, because it is rendering the template. Which template is it rendering? It is rendering index.html. So these all parameters will be depicted in this index.html file. Now where are these parameters depicted? How will we come to know that these parameters are shown or not? These parameters will be shown if display. So if we are seeing somewhere display over here, yes, display is equals to true. So if display is true, then you will display something. Now this is nothing but the chart. So what this chart is taking, it is taking this value. Now what is value? Value, is there something known as value over here which we are passing? Yeah, mapper of value, right? Mapper of value. Over here I am passing the feature, and then mapper I am having this dict of this. So mapper of value has been passed, right? Yeah. So these are all the various things which are being passed from the Flask server to the index template, and these are all rendered with the help of Jinja syntax over here. Fine. So let's look at the JavaScript code, which is purely based on the EDA thing. So that we will consider in the next video. Hi. So in the last video we completed the main.py function. The only thing which is left, which is to be discussed, is the JavaScript code. Now what is this JavaScript and how JavaScript is coming into the picture? Basically JavaScript is basically because of this charts. So these charts are basically of d3.js, or you can say chart.js. So this chart.js is a very amazing library or for open source HTML5 charts for your website, as you can see. Okay, so these are on demand, you can get easily. Just you have to copy the code from here and then just simply paste the code in the template and everything will be working fine, right? So let us get started from where the data is coming to this JavaScript console basically. So over here we have this value feature, right? So this get dict thing which takes in the value feature, which is nothing but the feature which the user is selecting from here. For example, I am selecting safety, and if I hit predict over here, so you can see that the chart is getting distributed for safety. Now from where did this safety come? So this safety came from this get dict of value, right? So this get dict of value is basically a function which will return me a dictionary. So when there is a dictionary returned in Python, in JavaScript that is called as an object. In JavaScript that is an object. So this value count is being passed over here as value count is equals to value count. Now if you want to integrate JavaScript in Flask, you have to first mention this block JavaScript and end block. Block JavaScript and end block. If you do not mention this, then the entire code will be wrong. The JavaScript will not work. If you want JavaScript to work, you have to mention these. And one important thing is these libraries. So chart.js has several script files which you have to keep it into the head of your template if you are using these for charts. Okay, so that is nothing but chart.js, start.js, d3.js and d3.js. So once everything is done fine, what is the thing now is we are saying mapper is equals to mapper of safe. So if you don't keep safe, means the JavaScript will understand that the data is coming from some unknown source and it will mark it as null. But if you keep it as safe, then the safe keyword is kind of a blend of Python saying JavaScript that hey, I want to pass a key value pair which in your language is known as object. So please do consider it. So mapper of safe will do that. Now when you console log it, so if you just see the console of this, you can just see the console of this. So if you see the console of this, you can see this object. You can see this object, right? So that is what I was saying. In JavaScript, Python dictionaries are known as objects. Okay. So if you want to declare an array, now I need to separate the keys. That is nothing but the keys and the values I need to separate. So for that, I'm declaring two arrays named as keys and values. So for const item in mapper, so for every item in mapper, you push the keys into the keys list, and you push the values into the value list. That's it. This is all about the JavaScript. So you are having all the keys in keys list, you are having all the values in the values list. Now if you want to draw a donut chart, so if you want to get a donut chart, you go to this place and just type in donut chart over here, donut chart, donut and pie charts. So this is a donut chart. So you can just go to setup, you can copy this const data is equals to thing, or you can come down and there in the bottom you'll get some kind of more specific things. Okay, you can copy them from here, or you can go to general, you can go to data structures. Okay, you can explore this a heap lot of things. So over here const data is this you can do padding. If you want to, you can give some kind of padding and everything. Okay, so over here I am using this. So var ctx is equals to document.get element of chart, get context of 2D. Okay, so this get element by id of chart. So where is this chart id documented in the entire HTML? It's documented over here, chart. You can see this chart. So canvas is equals to height 400, width 400, id is equals to chart. So what is this script file targeting on? It's targeting on this chart. So what is this chart actually? A canvas. So this is actually a canvas which has been displayed over here. So this is the canvas. Okay, this entire thing is considered to be the canvas. So yeah, so we'll get that, we can select it. In that, what we need to do, we will pass that ctx and we want to display a donut chart in that canvas. So from where will we get the donut chart? We are having this data thing, right? So from where are we getting it? From the chart.js library. You just search it over here, donut charts, donut and pie charts, or whatever you want. You just search it. You just go here. You just say setup actions. You can add data. You can hide. You can show. You can hide 1 0, 1. You can randomize. You can do a heap lot of things out of this. You can add the data set and so many things. You can get so attractive charts like this. Not only this donut chart, you can see your multi-series pie chart is there. If you want the code, see everything what you need to do over here is, if you want to display a chart, these lines will be remaining the same till 266. It will be same. Type you need to change, because type over here we have, see, type is equals to pi. In case of radar and skip points, type will be radar and everything. So you have to make sure that you are selecting the right type for your chart. And then what? Label is nothing but the keys, and data is the thing and on which basis the chart will be printed. So that is nothing but the values. So keys and values, we know that x and y relationship, that is what has been plotted, and this is all the background colors which you can give. So this is all about the JavaScript part on our project. In the next video, we'll discuss about how to deploy this simple application on Google Cloud Server. Okay. Hi. So in this video, we'll look at the deployment phase of a car acceptability prediction app on Google Cloud Platform. So if you want to get started with Google Cloud Platform, then first you need to go to this URL cloud. You need to go to console.cloud.google.com. Once you go to this, it will ask you the credentials for your email ID and password. So once you register, once you enter all your details, then you can get something like this. You'll get an interface something like this. Once you register all your once you provide all your information like email ID and password, you'll be getting this kind of platform. Now the main important thing over here is, you can see over here one drop down, right? Like, your free trial is waiting, activate to get $300 credit to your Google Cloud products. So what you need to do is basically this is saying that in your free trial you are having $300 credit. That means you can use that freely, but after a certain duration of time, if you are still using those services and you are not paying for it, that means you'll get charged. So For that, what we have to do, if you just dismiss it, it would be a problem when you're trying to deploy your application. You shouldn't dismiss it. You should click on activate, and then will be redirected to one page where you have to fill all your details over here. Okay, so once you fill in all the details and yes, once you fill in all the details and you simply hit on continue. So you for example, I have read this. Yeah, so step 2 of 3 is your phone number, and then after that they will ask you a credit card credential detail. Okay, so you fill in into it. That's not a problem because they just want to check whether you are a valid user or not. That's it, nothing more than that. So just remember that if you are using free trial service, you ended up the free trial service, and then you again started working on those services without knowing that your free trial period has been expired, so you will get charged heavily on it. So be careful when you're using services of Google or Amazon. So if you are using for free trial purposes, use it, and then after 1 or 2 days you just delete it. So that is more preferable. Okay, don't lag the things because sometimes it may cause some problem. So that is all about getting your Google Cloud platform set. So once your Google Cloud platform is set, the interface, as I said, will look something like this. So now over here, what we need to do is we need to click on this and we need to create a project. Okay, create a new project. So you should give your name over here. Like you can give any name. Let me just give me some name like Flask car app. So as we are using Flask framework, and then as we are doing some car accessibility prediction, and then Flask car app, and then create. So once this gets created, you will get notified over here that the app is getting created. So it will take some time and it will create it. Yeah, now you hit on this select project. So once you select the project, now what you need to do is a very important step. Now you go to down, and then you just click on this deploy a hello world app over here. Just click on this deploy a hello world app. Then you will be redirected to this tutorial. Okay, so just click on no and click on backside, and then click on this try app engine. So once you click on try app engine, now you click on this Python because we are deploying a Python app, right? So just click on no and just click on start. So our app, we have to select the application on which we are doing. So as we are trying to deploy our Flask car app, so that's why I'm selecting this app which I newly created. Okay, then click on next. So once you click on next, what will happen is you'll get some kind of commands over here. Okay, we have to follow these commands. So over here you can see that open Cloud Shell by clicking this button, that is activate Cloud Shell. So over here only we are having activate Cloud Shell, so we have to open this. So once we do it, it will give us an editor of this kind as shown here. So now what we have to do is, if I just type in dir over here, so we get some kind of repositories, or we get some kind of directories which are already existing in my cloud. So these all are the things which I deployed previously. So as we are doing new deployment, so what I'll do is I'll create a new folder, mkdir new folder. Okay, new project folder, better, new project folder, right? So I am inside new project folder, and there is okay, so I have to go to, as you can see that new project folder has been created over here. So now we have to go inside this new project folder. So for that, cd, that is change directory, new project folder, just click on enter. So now you are inside that. So now if you hit dir, that means show the directories which are there inside it. There's no directory there, it is empty actually. So we have to fill those, right, basically. So how would we fill the content? Like how would we load the content here? Okay, so over here, as we are doing on the web based cloud console, over here this terminal is basically of web So we are using the Google Cloud Console. So what we need to do is we need to kind of get this data pushed into our Git repository so that there is a direct connection from GitHub to Google Cloud Platform. So what we will be doing is this code we will be copying and we would be pushing our code on our Git repository over here. I have already done it. What you need to do is just you need to create a new repository and then you need to push all this code into the Git repository. That's it. Nothing more than that. Okay. You need to push all this code into your Git repository, which is over here. Fine. So once that is done, you need to copy the URL of the above Git repository where you just updated or where you just pushed your code. You just copy the URL of the repository and come over here and just type in git clone and then paste the repository and paste the URL. So once if you do it, it will clone everything. Okay, so now if you type in dir, you will get car accessibility GCP. That is nothing but the folder which it cloned. So we need to go into that folder. So cd and press tab. So what I did is I did cd car and then after writing some letters, press tab. It will auto complete. So press enter. So you are into that app now. Now if you press dir, so you will get all the requirements like app.yaml, car data, model building, requirements txt and templates. Yeah. So the new file over here is this YAML file, which it's very important for setting up the Google Cloud Console. So this app is saying that the entry point for this app is this port. Okay, this is a Linux command basically. So gunicorn -b port main app, and then environment is flex. Flex means flexible environment. Runtime is Python, and runtime configuration is Python version 3 and 3 point above. So it will consider the latest Python version only. No worries about it. So this YAML file is very important in case of Google Cloud. So we need this file so that like in the Streamlit we had the app as a shell script file, right? Shell.sh. So in the same manner we are having this in Google Cloud. So it is like an instruction to the Google Cloud that hey, you have to start your building from this app. Okay, so this YAML file is very important. Don't forget this file. So after that YAML, so now if you want to look at or if you want to check at some of the code, what you need is you do this kind of thing like cat. If you just browse on this side, so we did these two steps, right? We cloned the repository and then we initialized we just directed ourselves to the repository. Like we directed ourselves using the cd command, and then we got the files over here by dir method. Now if you want to look at any of the app, what you can do is you can just type in the command what they are saying, that cat main.py. If you do cat main.py, what will happen is it will showcase it will print the main file over here, like whatever whatever content is there in the file, it will print. Okay, so it's better to check out all the files. So I'll just type in YAML also. So yeah, it's the same file. Now I'll even check out the requirements file, whether or not I'm missing any requirements or not. I see that all the requirements are correct and I require this. So once you're satisfied with all your files, what you need to do is just click on this next, and now you need to create a virtual environment here. So just copy this command from here and then just paste it, and then just simply press enter. Don't try to change any name or anything. It will be little complicated if you do it. Just go with the flow what they are saying. Okay, just copy this and just paste it and just activate it. So you can see that the environment is has got activated here, hello world environment, which we created with the name hello world. Right, so now if I do dir over here, I'll get to know what all files are there in my directory structure, like app.yml, car.data, main.py and all. Okay, Now what I need to do is I need to install all the requirements. So just copy the command which is present over here, pip install -r requirements.txt. Just copy that and paste it, and all the requirements will get installed. Okay, so yeah, all the requirements are getting installed, and I think so all the requirements are already installed in my case. In your case, there will be some progress bar which will be shown, and that's not a problem. That's all fine. So now what I need to do is I need to run the file once to check whether it is working fine or not. So python main.py. If I run this, so I get a dummy server over here. So if I just click on it, so I'm getting the same which we saw on our local host as well. So just click on this predict button, and you'll get to know what is the thing. Yeah, it is predicting accurately, and we can see all over exploratory data analysis part also. So yeah, this is working fine on the local system, sorry, local cloud shell. Okay, so once everything is done, what we need to do is go to next, and then it's the time to deploy it. Okay, so this is the last step which you have to follow from here. So the last step is, don't do this gcloud app create. Just directly type in gcloud, or it's better you can also type in this gcloud app create. Just click on this and just paste it. Yeah, please enter the number of the choice in which you want to put your service into. So I will be keeping some anything you can keep. Actually, these are all the server data centers locations, so you can keep anything. So I will be keeping, let's say I would be keeping North America Northeast 15. Okay, you can keep anything, it's not a problem. So this will create the application. As you can see, creating app engine application in project. Yeah, so now over here they are saying that thing is done. So now please use gcloud app deploy to deploy your first app. So over here also, whatever the command they are saying from here, just copy that and then just paste it here. And this is the last phase. So the deployment will take a little bit time. It will take some 5 minutes or so. So after this, you will be getting an URL. See, after the deployment of this, you will be getting an interface like this only. Okay, you will be getting an interface like this after the deployment. You can easily figure it out that the deployment has been done. So once the deployment has been done, what you need to do is you need to go to this ID which they are given here. So just click on this ID, click open link on new tab. Now it will show an error because we have not pushed our files yet onto the server. So once everything is done, okay, once you execute this Google Cloud deploy app, Google Cloud app deploy function, command, everything will take a little bit time of 5 to 10 minutes basically. And then once everything is been done, you'll get an interface like this. You'll get an interface something like this. Okay, this at the end it will be showing that the app is perfectly been deployed on so and so server. So after that, you can just click on this URL. You can just refresh it. Once this command is successfully executed, after that you come here and just refresh it. So from where will you get the URL? The URL is from here only. Okay, so I'm just executing this. It will take a little bit time of 5 to 10 minutes. As you can see over here, descriptor, this is this descriptor Flask car app, and you are having the URL also, target URL, that is https flask car app nn.r.appspot.com. This and this is almost the same only. Okay, that be no issues, because over here these people only are saying congratulations, your app has been deployed. The default URL of your app is a subdomain on spot, which is something like this. Okay, so just press Y and let the entire thing get executed. So this is all about the deployment on Google Cloud. At the end you will get an interface like this only, but the thing is the URL will be different. That's it, nothing more than that. It will take a lot of time to deploy. So I hope everything makes sense. If you want to maintain the app, you can click on next. next, and you can follow these procedures over here, watch what they are saying, and you can figure it out on yourself. After this, it's self-explanatory basically. Once this gets executed completely, or it gets executed successfully, just click on this and you'll be redirected to this page, and then you'll get an interface like this only. So I hope everything makes sense, and do practice a lot on Google Cloud, and do practice and deploy many more applications as such. Thank you.